Episode 36 of the BEARDCASTER. My name is Scott Sikora, and I am the BEARDCASTER. Welcome to a podcast all about beards and mustaches, bearded culture, and all the other stuff that goes along with it. Hear the stories and adventures from the people and learn the tricks of the trade on how to grow and maintain your facial hair. There are many interesting situations that follow those of us with facial hair, from lifestyle to competitions, tips and tricks we each have, to everyday questions, to daily life in the world around us. So please join me as I share the stories about these people and hear the stories about how they are using their facial hair to be awesome and to do great and fun things. Hello again, my name, once again, is Scott Sikora, and you found the BEARDCASTER podcast. Welcome to the show. For more information, you can visit my website at thebeardcaster.com. You can get direct links to all my social media, such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also subscribe on iTunes. You can subscribe on iHeartRadio. You can subscribe on Stitcher. You can subscribe on Google Play Music. You can subscribe on pretty much any podcatcher out there. So if you have one, just search the BEARDCASTER, all one word, and you should be able to subscribe. That easy. Whoa, shit. I banged the mic. Because I'm super excited about this episode. Once again, episode 36. Now, this episode just happened bam, like that. It just kind of hit me out of the blue. I'd been thinking all week about what I wanted to do, and I get an email from a gentleman named Ryan Hardon, and he basically lays out that he's involved with doing an INDIEGOGO thing, and he wanted me to talk about it on the show. And he gave me a lowdown on it, and I read it, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. So, you know what? I just emailed him back. I'm like, what are you doing tonight? Let's just get together. So he responded back instantly and is like, cool, man. How about 8 o'clock? So I'm like, sweet. So we got together. We talked for a while. Awesome dude. Awesome dude. He's part of the Rocky Mountain Beard, the Rocky Mountain Beard and Mustache Club. He's from Fort Collins, Colorado, and he's involved with a INDIEGOGO, which once again I'll put links to all this stuff to make it easy to find. You can find it on my Facebook page, and it's going to be posted everywhere. So everyone needs to find out about this. It's Bearded, an ode to the beard. And what this is, it's a documentary that's getting made shortly, and it's going to be following the adventures of 4 guys getting on their motorcycles in Fort Collins, Colorado, and riding over 1,000 miles in 24 hours to the World Championships in Austin, Texas. And they're gonna be documenting this whole thing, and it's also gonna be about the beard life, beard culture, why guys grow, history of beard. It's gonna be everything. So it just sounds like a really awesome documentary. So you can go to their INDIEGOGO page. Again, I'll put a link, and you can make a donation. So I ended up talking to him about this for a long time and learned a lot of cool stuff. And we got a really interesting conversation about it. And they have about a month to raise $15,000 so they can make a really awesome movie. Regardless or not, if they make their goal, they're still going to make the movie. It's just going to take a lot longer for them to get it done, get it out, and less distribution and all that stuff. But we want to try to help these guys get their goal. So without further ado, let's just dive right into this. It was an awesome time, and I want to thank Ryan again for jumping on it, and let's get this done. So just check it out, and I'll see you on the backside. And action. Okay, so I am here with Ryan. Is it Hardon or Hardon?
It's Hardon is how it's pronounced.
That's good, because the funny thing is as I'm getting ready to do this, I have a little notepad here, and I have my stuff that I was going into my little studio to do, and on the notepad was your name, and my wife just kind of looked at it, and she's like, "You're interviewing Ryan Hardon tonight?" And I'm like, "Who?" She's like, "Ryan Hardon." And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she points at it. And I'm like, no, it's Hardon. Like the basketball player, your cousin, right?
Yeah, totally.
Oh, so is that your mother's brother? Is that how you guys related?
I think so. I think that's the way it goes. Something like that.
That's cool. Did you get the basketball skills too?
No, just the beard skills.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Okay, so today I was going through my emails and I get a nice little message from Ryan here about this INDIEGOGO thing that he asked if I would talk about on one of my shows. And so I went through it and I read it and I was just like, wow, this is really cool. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to message him back right now and be like, hey, what are you doing tonight? Let's just get together. Let's shoot the shit. Let's talk about it. Talk about what's going on in his world. Let's get to know who Ryan Hardon is. How does that sound tonight? Do you want to do that?
Absolutely. Yeah, that sounds like a good time.
Okay, so let's at your roots. And I don't mean the ones on your face, but let's go back to where were you born and raised? Where did you go to school? What year did you graduate? Did you have a girlfriend in 10th grade? What's the information? What was your favorite thing for school lunches?
Sure. So I was actually born and raised in Colorado. Grew up most of my life in North Denver, suburb called Thornton. And then I moved up to Fort Collins for school.
Is there any relation to Phil?
I think the fort was named after Phil.
Oh, okay. Good.
But I'm not positive.
That's really good. Okay, sorry. Continue. I will interrupt you a lot with dumb shit, so just be prepared.
Oh, no worries. So I moved up to Fort Collins. I started going to school up there at Colorado State University. Go Rams. And then from there, I just got stuck in Fort Collins.
Oh, in the not like literally like in your car in the mud or anything, but you just kind of couldn't get out?
A little bit of both. No, I'm totally kidding. No, I just Fort Collins is a great town. It's right up against the mountains. We got a 15-minute drive to get into the mountains there. And we got this big old lake up there that's just gorgeous, as well as it's big enough to have the amenities that a lot of big cities have. So it's kind of that perfect middle ground. And then shortly thereafter, I found out that we had our own beard club up there.
How did that make you feel? Isn't that like such a joyous moment? Like when you feel like, oh my God, I found people that are like into the same stuff I am, and I finally found like my calling. I mean, it's a great feeling, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It was kind of funny because it was around the same time I found the show Whisker Wars.
Uh-huh. I never heard of it.
It was on IFC.
What is that about?
It's actually about competitive bearding. It follows Brian Nelson.
No.
Yeah.
Holy crap. I got to check this out.
Yeah, it only ran for like one season.
2. You got 2. You forgot season 2.
Oh, was there 2?
I'm totally dicking around with you. I know the show really well, so.
Oh, fair enough. I've run into enough people around the community that just haven't heard of it.
No, I know that. So. Yeah, that is a weird thing. I mean, it is. I really enjoyed it when I watched it, and now that I've made friends with like a majority of the guys that have been on that show, season 1, season 2, it's like I want to go back and watch it again just to see how many more people that I know on there. But yeah, it was a really interesting show. I mean, I don't really like the premise of what it was about, but it was really cool that it was covering competitive bearding, and then it picked a few different people to like feature as. But I didn't like how they used Jack Passion and Arnie and Brian. That was just kind of they made too much drama that didn't need to be there, because there's already way too many more interesting things going on in competitive bearding, like the charity work and the whiskerinas and all that stuff. That I think that could have made the show even more better, or more gooder, whatever you want. But I think it would have made the show more interesting if they would have covered more stuff like that instead of making it a drama. But dramas sell TV, so people want to watch it because they want to see who's going to fight who.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it was actually pretty funny. So we held our competition, our beard bout. I guess it was about a month ago. Actually, a month ago to the day yesterday, on June 11th, we had Brian Nelson was one of our judges, and somebody came up on stage and like thanked him, but said, "You're Jack, right?" And it was funny because a bunch of the guys sitting around him like freaked out, like, "Oh, that's so much drama," and Brian's like, "Dude, whatever."
Yeah. That's what I've heard too. I mean, I can't remember who I talked. I don't know if it was Arnie, and I talked to him a couple of years ago, and it was the same thing. It's like, that's pretty much what their reaction is,
Pretty much.
It's just, they got filmed doing some stuff, and creative editing made it, something more than it needed to be.
Yep.
But that's television for you, so that's why we do podcasting, because I get to edit, and I'm in full control here, so I can make you sound like Paul Harvey if I want.
Yes, that's why we do podcasting, and then we do documentaries too, right?
Yes, absolutely. So you Fort Collins, you get out of Fort Collins, and now did you say you found what club did you find again?
It's the Rocky Mountain Beard and Mustache Club.
Now, is that the club that you are a part of right now?
Yes.
All right. Now, tell me a little bit about the club.
Sure. So right now we have chapters in Fort Collins, Loveland, and Denver. We also work closely with the other clubs in the state. We are the largest in Colorado. But we do work with the Boulder Club. They kind of are off on their own thing. We also do have a fairly good relationship with the club in Wyoming. I can't recall their name off the top of my head right now. But they actually are former members of ours that then split off and kind of created their own club. Just different philosophies on what a club should be. We're a fairly competitive club. So we have folks who placed in the Great American Beard and Mustache Championship last year that was held in Denver that we helped host. But we've got guys who have placed there. We have guys who are hoping to place down at Worlds. I don't know that we have any world-class competitors as of right now. One of our more popular guys, you'll see him. His picture ended up on Tosh.0's website, and it shows up every once in a while as Eric, aka Beardo. Mm-hmm. He does freestyle, and the picture that ended up on Tosh.0's website was like him spelling the word beer with his beard. No, because he's a brewer.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah, he's cool. Also the Caps beard guy. So if you ever see the Washington Capitals, the hockey team.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he spelled the word Caps in his beard for a Caps game, and it ended up on ESPN or something crazy like that.
Why couldn't you have didn't the whole Capitals in there?
He's not quite.
He's not an overachiever.
Yeah,
could have done it in like a typewriter font or something.
Right.
All right. So now, how did the competition in Denver go last year? Because I heard a lot of great things about it. I heard it went off really well. I heard a lot of happy people. What was your take on it?
Yeah, it was a great time. Definitely huge shout out to the Boulder guys. They're a smaller club than we are, but they did a ton of the footwork for us on that. Or not for us, but they did a ton of the footwork, I should say. But yeah, it was a really good time. The venue was beautiful. We actually are looking to head back to that venue here soon for our own competition. And the city's awesome. I mean, bearding guys love beer, and that's one thing Denver knows how to do really well.
Yes, and have a high altitude for us people that go out there, and then we drink like half as many beers as we can drink here at our lower altitude, and we get like destroyed because there's not enough blood in our brain.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I think a lot of people forget is like, when you're flying in from a lower altitude, and I know this. Remember, I'd been out to Steamboat Springs multiple times.
Okay.
And I was younger. It's been a while since I've been out there, but my dad, I remember the first night we got out there, he drank a couple beers and he ended up just getting lost. I mean, he was just, and he was hungover the next day, and we're like, he barely even drank. And my uncle was like, oh, it's the altitude, it takes half as much, when you're not used to it, and you just get there, and it's like you get there and you get short of breath, you get tired real quick, you got to acclimate a little. It's like climbing Mount Everest. Being a Sherpa, those guys can go up and down the mountain all day long, but being a guy from Cleveland going out to Colorado, that's like, yeah. But here nor there. But that was just me interjecting a stupid story.
Oh, no, it's totally fair. I actually, sidetrack story. I just got literally stuck in Steamboat.
Ooh, that's not a bad thing, though. I don't think. Steamboat. I've been to Denver. I've been to a bunch of cities in Colorado, but Steamboat Springs it's so beautiful there. I haven't been there in the winter. I've been there in the summertime a few times, but yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful place. My aunt owned a ski rental place out there, so every winter they would send us like skis and boots and stuff, and we'd go skiing at our local place out here, which is pretty much like a little bump on compared to what you guys got out there, but yeah, they would send us skis all the time, and we learned how to ski out here, and unfortunately they ended up selling it and they moved to Wisconsin, so I never got a chance to go out there and ski. But it was very another great place in Colorado I've been to. Which have you ever heard of Cripple Creek?
Yeah,
I loved that place. It was such a cool little town, little mining town. I bet you there were a lot of beards in that town a long time ago.
Yeah, I would bet so.
So okay, but let's get back to the real story here. Now, okay, so you get involved with the team, and are you just a participant, or are you part of the club? Like, are you a chair member or anything like that?
Yes. The reason I chuckle a little bit, so what sort of happened was before our competition, one of our members, he's actually our treasurer. He also runs our social media, and he kind of put out the call for help to run our social media for the club. And I offered, hey, I work a desk job. I can kind of do that pretty easily. And ended up doing so much social media that they just threw me onto the board and made me the social media person.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't like to say it this way, but I kind of forced my way onto the board by just really working at that social media aspect, which is so important to any club that's trying to do a competition or anything like that.
Well, one thing that I've noticed, and I've talked to a couple other guys in a couple different clubs about this, but honest to goodness, like I swear to God, Facebook is the lifeline of every beard club out there. It's like the only social media, the social media platform that really does get the most traction compared to like Twitter or even that other one, Instagram. But it seems like with the addition of the event pages, you can subdivide your page in so many different little ways, and then you have your event pages. And what I've noticed, even from like events I've gone to, you'll see like, okay, 358 people are interested in going. 150 are going, blah, blah, blah. And then you get there and it's like those numbers are pretty dead nuts on every time. It's like those people that say they're going to be there show up, and then those people that are on the fence, you at least get half of them. So you could really base your attendance on those numbers that you get that respond back on the Facebook things.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's really neat, and we've started using we use Instagram and Facebook. We're just on there as Rocky Mountain Beard and Mustache Club. Definitely a lot less active since our competition. I was posting the week before the competition I was up to 5 posts a day on each, which got intense. We had the sponsor agreements that we would make sure that we wanted to take care of our sponsors, and that sort of thing through our social media. But yeah, it was huge. And some of our sponsors are local businesses that I frequent, and they even made comments to me about how much they loved the exposure that we were giving them. So it's kind of one of those nice ways that bearding can give back to the community too.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. And like I said, the amount of interaction you get from other people on Facebook, it's, you're getting in front of a large audience. So it's a win-win for everyone involved.
Absolutely. Yeah, we work with we kind of have taken a charity. It's called Life for the Innocent. We've taken them as our, I guess, main charity. That's who we've benefited with our last several events. And they do work to to rescue kids from human trafficking.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How on earth do you guys find a charity like that out of Colorado? I mean, is that a major problem in the Colorado area?
So they work mostly in Southeast Asia. They're headquartered in Colorado, and I believe they're close personal friends of some of the club.
Oh, okay. That's definitely. I'll put a link to that charity in my show notes. So if anyone wants to check that out, definitely. And I also put links to the your guys' Facebook and your Instagram accounts too, so people can easily find. Do you guys have a website too, or is it just all through Facebook and Instagram?
Primarily through Facebook and Instagram. Right now, our website is under construction. So that is not, and I'm sure by the time this goes up, it will not be ready. It's still a few months out. So, we just do the Facebook and Instagram stuff right now.
All right. Okay. Let's dive right into the meat and the potatoes of why I wanted to talk to you.
Sure.
Now in your message that you sent me today, you wanted me to talk about a little thing that you were promoting that was leading up to the World Beard and Mustache Championship in Austin, Texas. Now, as I looked into this, what's happening is there are 4 guys that are going to be riding their motorcycles from the Rock. Where are they starting from? Denver, and then they're riding to Austin, Texas, which is about probably a little over 1,000 miles. Correct?
Yeah. So they're starting in Fort Collins is where we start from. The Indiegogo does say Denver.
Yeah.
But that's something that just was sort of an oversight. But it is from Fort Collins to Austin. We're getting together end of this month to plan the route so that we can hit 1,000 miles.
Oh, that's hopefully it's good weather.
Yes.
And thankfully that this competition is in the summertime and not the winter, because that would, maybe you could do a snowmobile ride, but then once you got into Texas, you'd run out of the snow. So, but you'd ride the snowmobile in the dirt. I think that'll work. Now, okay. So tell me a little bit about, there's 2 sides to this event. There is the number one, the ride, which in itself is just a cool thing with, 4 guys, they're going to be riding and they're going from, Colorado to the competition. But the second side to this is they're also with the Indiegogo page, which once again, I will put a link up. I already put a link up on my Facebook page right now, but what they're doing is they're trying to raise money to make a documentary out of this too. So what they're going to be doing is filming all of this going on. They'll be filming stuff, I'm assuming, at the competition in Austin in September and some other stuff. And they're going to be putting together a movie for the most part. And it's going to be about, I'm just trying to read here really quick, but the culture of bearding, about competitions and all that kind of stuff. So it sounds like it's a really, really cool thing. So like, once again, a link, you can go, you can read all about it, but how did this all come about?
Yeah. So, the main guys who are riding on motorcycles, we have Zach, Adam, Sean, and Nate. And Zach started to get to talking to some of the other guys about, hey, it's about 1,000 miles. Hey, it'd be really cool to do that in one straight shot on a motorcycle. And then Sean, he's actually our vice president of the club. He was like, yeah, that sounds like a really cool idea. We know these guys from this group, Eccentric Video. They actually were in charge of making it so that everybody could see Great American last year. They did the live stream of Great American last year. And so he got to talking to him, and we were like, hey, Sean was like, hey, we got this great documentary idea, and the guys from Eccentric are both bearded guys. So they were like, you know what? We can get behind this. So it's kind of a melding of the story of this ride, this 1,000-mile ride. I'm going to be following them in a race car.
No. Hey, did you know if you spell race car backwards, it's race car?
I know, right? It's nuts.
It's like a taco cat. Okay.
It's like this whole week is palindrome week because it's 7-1 number 17.
Oh, geez. It's like the stars were all in a line just for that one or those two sentences we just had. So, wow.
Right?
What a
Everything
cosmic
was perfect for those jokes.
Cosmic connection we just had right there. Okay, so you're going to be following along in a race car and action. Go. I'm doing the little thing.
I'm going to be following along in a race car. And we're going to have a couple other support vehicles. We've got some photographers following us to do photography. We've got, obviously, the documentary guys following us, doing their documentary side. But yeah, it's going to be a wild ride. We're doing it all in one day. So 1,000 miles one day. It's supposed to be an 18-hour ride.
Oh, my butt hurts already for these guys.
Yeah. Most of them have been spending the summer doing test rides. Mm-hmm. We have one guy who actually tested the entire route and discovered that I'm going to have some gas cans in my trunk because there's going to be spots where the motorcycles aren't going to quite make it.
Oh, wow. Well, that's a really smart thing to do. I would have never thought that, motorcycles get like 400 miles a gallon, but you don't realize that they only hold 2 gallons or whatever. But
right,
I'm of course exaggerating. I'm not a motorcycle guy, so I don't really know the specifics of a motorcycle, other than it has 3 wheels and it goes really fast and it goes vroom vroom, something like that. I saw it on TV once or in a movie. CGI, something, I don't know. So, okay. But yeah, I would have never thought to be like, oh, let's take a test drive and see, and then find out that we're going to run into a patch where we're not going to have enough gas to get these suckers going, so we better make sure we come with all the proper supplies. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's been an adventure getting everything ready, getting my car ready. My car's actually in the shop right now.
It's a race car.
Yep.
That's what I heard. I heard it through the grapevine that you have a race car.
That is true.
What kind of race car is it? Formula One?
It's a Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 9.
Oh my! That I already love your car more than anything in the world.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, I had a Lancer a long time ago, and I loved that car. It was but it wasn't. I did not have the super deluxe version like you have. That's always been one of my dream cars.
Yeah, I started with a Lancer myself, and then ended up upgrading to the Evo shortly after. So,
such a badass car, man.
Thank you.
So okay, so you're gonna be supporting, you're gonna be following along, making sure that everyone gets enough gas. Okay, so once you guys get to Austin, now here's another big question: are you gonna be competing at all, or are you just going for the experience and to help the guys out?
Yeah, I will be competing. For Austin, I am in one of the full beard natural categories.
No way.
Yeah.
Not that I can see you right now, but I did see you real quick earlier, and yeah, you did have a full beard.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm trying to train the fork out a little bit. Right now, that's my biggest obstacle is I have a really big natural fork, which I got to talking to some judges, and they said that they are not usually fond of that. That kind of takes away from the fullness score. So I'm trying to train that out, doing the braid thing, that sort of thing. This will probably be my last year for a little bit competing in full beard natural. I intend to kind of switch over to full beard styled mustache, just because I don't think I have the length to compete with those guys who've been growing for 10 years.
Yeah.
But I have a fair amount of hair in my mustache that I can play around with.
Mustaches are cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think well, how many years have you been competing? Let's take that little tangent real quick, but we'll make sure we come back to this one just to get a little bit to know about you and what you've done over the years when you started and all that stuff.
Yeah, so I've been competing for 2 years. And I mean, I've been growing a beard as long as I can remember.
That's a long time. Memories last a lifetime.
It's true.
That's what I heard. I think I saw that on a shirt or something. Or
something like that.
Or greeting card. So
Mother's Day card, something like that.
Yes. So for 2 years now, has it always been the same style? Or have you kind of messed around, or ever since you can remember? I'm quoting you here. I'm using your words. Now, when you were in high school, were you growing it back then, or like when you were in college at Colorado State University, getting your degree in what?
So I was getting my degree in applied computer technology.
See, that sounds like a beard growing thing right there. So when you were getting your computer technology, were you growing stuff then? Were you experimenting? Were you growing a mustache then and be like, I don't feel like a beard today? And then a couple weeks later you grow full beard, and then now a couple weeks later you grow goatee. Are you like that? Do you go down that typical road that pretty much all of us have as we were growing up, just exploring until you find what you like the best?
Yeah, so in high school I had the skinny chin strap, cheesy kind of bro beard going on.
God, that's the same thing Chad had, I think. Chad Roberts. Because I'm remembering talking to him, and I think I call it the Creed beard.
Yeah, something like that.
The Mark Tremonti.
From there into college, I did grow into a full beard. There were a couple Novembers where, like, for a Halloween costume, I'd shave down to a mustache. But for the most part, it was a full beard. After that Halloween, I would shave it off until the like one fateful year, where I had a coworker who told me, he's like, "Hey, I'm growing a beard, you should too." And I was like, okay, that sounds like fun. And ever since growing my beard out for a year, the only time past that I shaved it was I did St. Baldrick's for childhood leukemia, which is where you raise money and then shave your head. And I put my beard on the line for like $500 towards childhood leukemia.
That's cool.
Yeah. And ended up raising the $500. So I was a man of my word, and I shaved off my beard. And actually that's the last time I was clean shaven, which was about 4 years ago.
Oh, that's a really good story. I like that. I like that a lot. I sometimes I think about like, adding like as an idea for like a competition, like doing a charity auction where you get guys that have been like, you get the guys with the super beards and see how much money you could get to raise for a charity by having one of those guys shave, or doing some sort of like, I think that would be a cool thing to add to a competition to help raise money for a charity, is to sacrifice one of your members to the razor.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Or like an inch every X amount that gets earned, they cut off an inch or something like that. It'd be cool.
Hopefully not their leg, or we're talking cutting their beards off, right?
Talking beards, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Man, my mind went somewhere else for a split second, and then I came back I came back after, and I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck is he talking about? And hopefully he's not talking about cutting legs off. Wow. Okay, so now we're gonna go. Now that we got a little bit of your backstory, we're gonna go back off that tangent, right back onto the road to Austin in September. Mm-hmm. Now, you plan on competing. What do you think your chances are? It's you're in a probably pretty loaded category.
Yeah, it is a pretty loaded category. It is. The nice thing in Austin is they have, I think, 5 different length categories to full beard natural, which means, and I don't, for once in my life since I've been competing, I don't land in the or over category. So I'm actually going to be competing against guys within an inch or 2 of my beard, which feels a lot better than competing against guys who, they've got beards down to their nuts. And
yeah, well, you'll be the bigger size in your category then. Exactly. So, that kind of makes me stoked. But yeah, I mean, I'm mostly down there for the experience more than anything. I would love to place, would love to get an award, but at the same time, I know that, it's one of those things where, who knows what the awards are going to be. And I'm going to be competing against world-class guys. We actually just heard, a rooster. Oh, sorry.
we just heard that there's going to be some guys from New Zealand coming up. That they're actually making a rival documentary to ours, we found out.
Be cow. Boy, this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
Now I'm really wishing that I was going, because I could be bouncing back and forth between you guys.
Yeah. So they're making that, and it's actually kind of funny because we at our last board meeting we kind of kicked around the idea of trying to develop a bid to get world championships in Colorado soon. Mm-hmm. And New Zealand is doing the same thing, so it's one of those like. Weird. We've created this pseudo rivalry, but as with everything in bearding, it's fun.
Yeah. Oh, it's always for a good cause too. So that's as I've always said in every episode I talk about it, and with everyone that I've talked to about competitions, that's what it all boils down to. We're all getting together to raise money and to bring awareness to the charities that we have found that we want to help support. I mean, some of these charities really just have a difficult time getting exposure, gaining, funds to continue on what they do. And we can use our stature in our communities to get more awareness for them and help raise money and have a cool little event get together with all of our friends, drink some cool beers, hang out, make new friends, and socialize. It's the whole everything around it is just why it is such a great event anywhere. I mean, and it's the same everywhere, no matter if you're in New York or if you're in Los Angeles. It's the same event every place in the country, every weekend. And that's what's so amazing about it. It's always for the same thing.
Yep. Yeah, we were talking about it, about how even the whole weekend is the same. You know, you can plan what you're going to be doing that weekend. If you've been to one beard competition, and this makes it sound boring, but if you've been to one competition, you kind of know the flow of the weekend. You know, Friday night, you're going out, you're having a few drinks with everybody. The hosts are kind of treating everybody. You get to meet some of the folks, some of the judges. I met Brian Nelson this year, which was huge for me because Whisker Wars was what really got me interested in the community. So meeting him was really cool. Having him buy me a shot was pretty sweet.
What was it? What was it? What was the shot? What was the shot?
Well, I have to, I'm surprised I haven't mentioned these guys yet, but it was Tullamore Dew, which is actually a shared sponsorship that Austin has sponsorship from Tullamore Dew, and so do we here, or so do we at Rocky Mountain Beard and Mustache Club. So it's kind of one of those like meeting of the minds kind of things.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, I've yet to try that, so maybe when we meet at some point in our lives, we will do a shot of that together.
Absolutely. I was actually real jealous of one of the Ohio competitions. That Beards Behind Bars competition looks like fun.
Yeah, it was. And once again, that was a couple weeks ago. We had over, I believe, 185 or 186 competitors from all over the country. I mean, it was a really, really good turnout. I did not go. This is my first year I haven't gone.
Oh.
And I've always been, for the past 3 years or so, I've been one of the organizers of it's been the Great Lakes Beard and Mustache Championship. But this year we had the opportunity to do it at the Mansfield Reformatory, where they shot the Shawshank Redemption and the old historical prison and all that stuff. And life got in the way with me, and I kind of had to bow out of doing all club activities this year, and it really kind of sucked because it was like I was getting ready. I was like, oh, the competition's coming up, and I'm like, I'm gonna go, and then my son had to have surgery a couple days before on his feet, so he couldn't walk, and I kind of got family and life come first. So, but the competition will be again next year. I don't know if it'll be there, but we'll have another great one in Cleveland. I'll tell you that, though.
Yeah.
So let's graduate onto another topic. Now,
sure.
as I was kind of doing my 10 minutes of research for this episode, because that's about as much as I could get in, I was looking through your Facebook page. Obviously, you're a humongous Star Trek fan.
No. I like Star Trek.
Oh. I know that was a dirty joke I just played on you, but you're obviously a humongous Star Wars fan.
Yep.
Now, tell me what's your first memories of Star Wars? Because those are always the most tender, loving, like those are like the memories from your childhood that you hold on to for your entire life. Like you're not going to remember your first like little girlfriend you kissed, but you're always going to remember that first Star Wars moment in your life.
Yeah, well, the first little girlfriend was dressed up as Leia, but no,
Jeez.
No, I'm totally kidding. It's actually kind of funny.
She was dressed as Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah, that's a little more accurate. No, so I grew up with a couple cats, which if you guys see like my social media stuff, if anybody out there sees my social media stuff, or they see me at competitions, I dress up as an Ewok. And where that came from was kind of a combination of things. I grew up with two cats that were named after Ewoks, Paplu and Logray.
Oh, Logray. Yep, nub.
Yep, nub dub. And then in college, one of my jobs, my boss used to call me Ewok because of my beard and because I'm short.
Mm-hmm.
So I sort of picked that up, and I made a Halloween costume out of it one year. And then when I started doing beard competitions, I was like, you know what? That can be my beard competition costume too. So,
well, and that's a really cool thing too, is like the guys that can really, I mean, you got the guys that, you know, that they'll dress up or whatever, but if you have a character, you are so much more memorable. And if you consistently use that character throughout, you become almost a celebrity in the circuit where, you know, people know, hey, it's the Ewok guy. You know, they might not know your name, but you'll instantly recognizable and everyone talks about you. So that's always a good thing too, because it makes you stand out and it makes you stand out to the judges too. I mean, that's part of what you're getting judged for, is a creativity factor. So, you know, that's a tip for everyone out there. You know, come up with something that really defines who you are, something that you're really into, and incorporate it into your beard design, and, you know, try to cultivate it and make it more into a persona. I mean, it'll definitely help you in your competitive endeavors out there.
Yeah, and I would say, even if it's like not something as extreme as a Ewok, like even if it's just like, hey, I look like a rockabilly kind of dude.
Yeah.
It'll get you those extra couple points from the judges who just, they see the whole persona. Like you said, make it a persona rather than just, because I think the first couple competitions I did, I was like, I'm going to wear flannel and I'm going to wear jeans and I'm going to look just like every single other person that's getting up on this stage.
Well, that's kind of how I am too, though. I discovered that apparently, I mean, I did really well with competitions when I started out, and then as I kept going along, it was like, I kind of like started off strong and just kind of fell to the bottom of the pack. And I found my voice in the whole competitive bearding thing by doing this, you know, so I don't go to as many competitions as I do anymore, but I try to cover the stuff, you know, on this podcast and not only the events, but, you know, just the bullshit that we all go through. Because I mean, it's, hey man, you and I got beards, and, you know, hey, our dog died. You know, it's something that we both can feel. It's something we're both sad about. It's something that we both can talk about. It's something relatable, you know. There's always something that someone's going through that, you know, hey, sometimes it'd be like, hey, I can relate to you. You know, your story touches me. It makes me feel better. It makes me, you know, less stressed about my situation, or, you know, so that's what I try to do now. It's like I said earlier, I tried to more focus on the competitions. I tried to focus on, you know, the clubs and all that stuff. And I've slowly kind of worked my way out of it. And I can thank John from the Gnarly Beards United show, like we talked earlier, because he's kind of really taken over for what I wanted to do. And he's kind of given me the ability to go the direction that I think my show has kind of gone to now, which is more of like culture and like just, you know, tips, fun things. I'm kind of like riding around the edge of the whole beard community now, you know, where I was trying to go right down the middle, and I couldn't get the traction I wanted to, and he's doing it the right way. He's doing it perfectly. And like I said, thanks to him, he's kind of pushed me in a direction where I think I needed to go, and I'm finding more success in that, and I'm finding more fulfillment in that. And to hear stories like this, I mean, when I saw that you guys were working on shooting a little documentary, it's like, this is awesome, because like, as I read about what you guys want to achieve with this, it's like, shit, it's exactly the same thing as what I'm doing here with this. It's like trying to learn about the community, trying to figure out like why the guys do what they do, and just all the stuff that's involved in it. Not just, hey, competitions, or hey, you know, what beard wax do you use? You know, you can find all that shit all over online. There's 10,000 videos and, all that stuff. That stuff's easy to find. But to get and dive into the culture and all the guys that are involved in it, I mean, there's not a lot of stuff out there. So, for you guys to be working on this movie, I'm like super fucking stoked for this, because this is going to be really awesome, and I cannot wait.
Yeah. We touch on a couple things you said there. One thing that I thought throughout that whole conversation right there was just like, it seems to me like the goal that you've kind of created for your own podcast is to be that conversation that happens at Beard Club meetings, rather than be about the Beard Club meeting, be that conversation that happens at the Beard Club meeting. And it kind of brings me back to some stuff that happened a month ago. I was going through a rough time. Another one of our members was going through a really rough time. And it was cool to see the community just come out and be there. It's the social side of a Beard Club, which is, I think, sometimes skipped over because everybody hears about Whisker Wars. They hear about the competition, but they don't hear about the social side where it's guys helping guys.
Yeah, well, and I don't mean to interrupt you there either, but I can also attest to that too, because I've been also going through a lot of personal stuff over the past few months, and I can't believe just the random outpouring of dudes from all over the country that just randomly send me a text message, send me an email, or something. I mean, I got a freaking card in the mail from Adam Cosgrove from the Pittsburgh club, and it's just like, hey, hope you're doing good. I get text messages from Chad Roberts and his wife, hey, hope you're doing good today. I mean, just random people from all over the country, just, hey, we could kind of tell you're in a funk right now. Is there anything I can do for you? If you need to talk, I'm here.
Yep.
And that just goes to show the great people that are involved in the community. They care about you. It's not just about, it's not about getting together and drinking beers. It's like you get together and it's a instant friendship.
Yep. Yeah. And that's sort of, the second part that I was going to say was just about the documentary, and that you sort of mentioned that we have the same goal. And I think that's very true. We were talking a little bit earlier about Whisker Wars and about how, that was cut by kind of a commercial entity, and the drama was played up through it. And that's the benefit that we have, and sort of the leeway that we have of having a couple of guys who are bearding. They're not big in the community, but the director and his assistant that are doing the documentary themselves are both guys who are interested in the bearding community. They want to tell the history of beards. They want to talk about, how beards have come to the point where they are now, and talk about that community side of it too, not just the competition, not just Worlds. Worlds is going to kind of play the background to this whole thing, but the idea is talk about, hey, here's this great community that can get 5 crazy dudes to drive 1,000 miles in 24 hours.
Well, and there's going to be a ton of those different types of stories, though. This is just one of them. There's going to be, hey, the road trip with 5 guys in a little like Hyundai coming from Florida that are going to be going there, and they're going to have their own little fun story that they're going to have that their friends on social media are going to be following. So it's going to be all this like smattering all over, TV, because I'm sure there's going to be tons of TV crews in Austin filming all of this stuff. They're going to be taking care of the event and all that crap that's going on. And what did I see? I just saw MJ and all those guys from the Remington or the Beard Boss. They're all together filming something right now too that's going to be for the Worlds. So there's all these like little side things that are going on that are all related to this event, but it's all different things that are going on that all filter into the same thing about beards. And who would have thought that just not shaving was going to be something so huge? and to do so many ridiculous things like send a bunch of guys on 4 motorcycles from, Fort Collins to Austin, or, it's just, I laugh at it at times, because I even think about this. Like, I think back years and years and years ago, just all the cool shit I used to get just because I had a beard. And it's funny because I'd be walking through the airport and someone would walk up to me, like from Delta or whatever, and they'd be like, dude, your beard's awesome. Here, have a couple free drink passes. I'm like, shit. I'm like, thanks. It would be stuff like that all the time. And it amazes me that if facial hair just gets that kind of reaction out of people sometimes. And that's what this whole thing is. It's this the bike ride is that. I'm like I said, I cannot wait to check this out. I'm gonna do my hardest to try to promote this and get this Indiegogo, get them some money, because I think this is a great project. I think it has potential to be something amazing, and I want to be behind it. I want everyone that listens to this podcast to be behind it too, because it is the epitome of what this podcast is about. It's it's going to be in a visual form, which you can't see me right now, so I'm like waving my hands around all dramatically, and if I had a video camera on me, we can make a movie of that. And but you get my point though.
Yeah, no, and we appreciate that more than you can imagine. This is it's funny because it's one of those things where we were kind of getting down last week because the Indiegogo wasn't doing as well as we had projected it to be doing so far. Through partially fault of mine, just I didn't quite get all the social media out that I was supposed to. Various things happened, but we all kind of came together and we were talking at one of our club meetings, and we were like, regardless of if this goes through, they're still going to film it. The group that's going with us, so they're going to film it. It just won't look as pretty if we don't have the full money from the Indiegogo. But we're still going to drive. We're still going to do everything. Like, it just won't be as pretty.
Well, but the thing is the story will still be there.
Exactly.
The experience will still be, the memory will be there. It is that as I correlate to it'll be that Star Wars memory for you from when you were a kid.
Yeah.
It'll be that magical moment that you had in your life that you'll never be able to forget, that'll always be there, that reminds you of that innocence. And this event, and for the 5 of you, is going to be that. Even if you guys can't raise all of the money for it, it'll still happen, but it won't take that experience away from you, which you're very lucky to be able to do this. So kudos to you.
Yeah. No, thank you. And that's our whole thing is at the end of the day, it's the experience that matters. Getting to put it in, because the idea with this film is the guys who are making it do want to try and submit it to Sundance and Cannes and some of the big festivals, which would be cool, but that's all auxiliary.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's the story, it's the experience that matters to us. I made a joking comment about wanting to be beard famous, but at the same time, spending 24 hours, and then the drive back is actually going to be a 2-day drive. We're doing it the smart way back home. And one of the nights, and then the night we're going to camp out in somewhere in North Texas. I think it's a national park that's up there. We're all going to camp out, which that experience, again, it's one of those experiences that I don't think you can ever replicate. And
it reminds me of an old cowboy movie. That's what I envision. You guys all sitting around a campfire eating baked beans out of a cast iron skillet and drinking some whiskey. I mean, that's what I envision.
Yeah. And, when you look at our crew, we've got, I'm a beard competitor. We have another beard competitor. And then, we have a guy who I think he's doing Musketeer. and then a Mustache competitor.
Yeah, that sounds like a good crew of guys right there. I mean, you're definitely getting a good peppering of styles, which is good, especially when you're going to be shooting a documentary about beards and stuff. Well, even though I think that's another topic I want to go over at some point is when you say bearding or beard competitions and stuff, it's the mustache gets overshadowed every time, but in our community, we all understand that when you talk about beards, bearding, beard competitions, it includes it. It's just like it's an umbrella covering everything. So,
oh, absolutely, yeah. We have, I mean, in our community, actually, our mustache guys are some of our most awarded guys.
See, we don't have enough of those guys in our club, but we've been starting to get a couple. We've got the big ass beard guys. We got a strong running in the partial beard category, and we got a bunch of guys that are coming up in the full beard, but we always have had a hard time with the mustache, but now we got a couple guys coming in now that are really pulling through, so we're starting to get a little even keel on everything. But yeah, I know some clubs are really dominant in certain categories, like even the Whiskerina. There's some clubs that are just their bread and butter is the Whiskerinas. They like the Whiskerinas are like the king shit of their club. And I mean, but you can't go wrong. Once again, I'd say this every time. The Whiskerina is like my favorite category by far because it is the most interesting, most creative. I mean, yeah, it is tough to grow, a Josh Black size beard. It's tough to do a freestyle like Arnie, but it takes a lot for some of these girls to come up with these fantastic ideas, and then another competition come up with another one and not reproduce something that someone else has done. Everything's always pretty much original. I mean, it's like music. At some point, all the songs are going to be played. Every chord progression is going to be played. You're going to get to a point where, okay, now what girl is going to come up with the most creative beard? And then that's going to be the one that wins because it's the most unique. So that's what I like the Whiskerina stuff. So.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what's cool about Austin. Not to keep bragging about Austin, but
yes,
it's the first year that Whiskerinas has had a world competition.
Yes, they're getting their own categories for that. So that was, I interviewed Jody and Amy from the Whiskerina Council, and they talked about how all this stuff was going on down there and everything. So it's just great. I think there's just so much great stuff going on in the community right now that you guys, with making this movie, are going to be like sticking in that, like you're going to be getting it at the right point. Like you're hitting it at the right point. Like where Whisker Wars, if it came out right now, probably would be way more popular than it was back then. But like something like this happening right now with the way the community is right now, it's like striking while the iron's hot.
Oh yeah. Yep, that's kind of our goal, and it's in the social sphere. Just talking about outside of bearding, you have beards being kind of socially acceptable right now, and like you say, iron's hot, time to strike it.
All right, Ryan. Well, that sounds like a good place to end it. But thank you so much for reaching out to me today, and I'm even more excited that you were able to just hop on like that with me, like in the snap of a finger. Because I really was like, as the week's been going on, I'm like, oh, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? And it always, like, when something like this like falls in your lap, it's like, I really need to take advantage of this. Hopefully this all works out. And it was a perfect storm of everything being perfect. And as I've talked to you and learned a lot more about this whole thing, like I'm just super, super excited about it. And I want to thank you once again so much for taking the time to talk with me tonight. And I want to do everything I can to help you guys try to make this as successful as you can. And just, if you guys need anything, reach out to me. I'm more than willing to help you guys do anything. Talk to anyone. I can hook you up with anyone. whatever you guys need. I believe in this project. Everyone else should. Once again, link to it in the show notes. I will also be posting links to the Indiegogo. A month left. Okay, so we have 1 month left for this Indiegogo. So, but I'll be posting. I'm gonna reach out to everyone I know and have them be posting this. So keep your eyes peeled for this. You need to invest in this. This is a good thing for us.
Awesome. And I appreciate that so much. We'll make sure that we keep in touch. I'll share that with the other guys on the group as well. I'll let them know if they have anything, if they have any ideas that they want to run through you. We'll make sure we keep in touch.
That's awesome. But once again, thank you so much for reaching out, and I wish you guys the best of luck. I wish you an absolute safe trip. That's the big thing. You guys be safe. All the guys be safe. I mean, that's a long time to be on a bike, long distance. There's a lot of armadillos out there that run across the road. So at least you don't have to worry about being up in Maine and hitting a moose or something.
Right.
Yeah. But
right.
You got those armadillos and they're rolling around on the highways. But I wish you guys a safe and successful journey to Austin. I wish you the best of luck in the competition. I hope you can get in there and place and do something great. And I wish you guys the most success. And that's about all I can say. I mean, I'm overwhelmed with excitement right now because I'm oh my God, this is great. And I'm now I'm all hyper and I'm oh, what can I do? And it's oh geez, I can't wait to get to my computer and start posting stuff about this. And it's I cannot wait to get this episode out because I just want people to know about this. It is so very often that I come across stuff that is this great, this good, and this important that needs to be addressed. So thank you once again, Ryan. I thank you. I'm applauding you right now that's me clapping.
All right. Well, again, thank you. And, I love the pod. Definitely keep listening. We'll make sure that this is a mutual appreciation society going on here. So
I appreciate it. Now, one last thing before you leave. Why don't you give me some plugs to websites other than, tell me some places we can find you at. Once again, though, I will put links in the show notes, but for sometimes people, as they're driving and listening to this, maybe they might remember what you're telling them. So as we're going out here, why don't you tell us, plug some of your stuff.
All right. Sounds good. So for our club, we have Rocky Mountain Beard and Mustache Club. That's Rocky Mountain Beard and Mustache Club. We are on Facebook by that name. You can search Instagram and find us by that name. We're also, the username on Instagram is at Rocky Mountain BMC. The documentary that we are making is called Bearded, an ode to the beard. Again, that's Bearded, an ode to the beard. That's the way it is found on Facebook and Instagram. It is at Bearded the Movie, I believe is what it is. I know you can search for it by Bearded, an ode to the beard, and you can find it anywhere. We're also on Indiegogo, again, by that name, Bearded, an ode to the beard.
Awesome. Well, I will try to go through and link everything I can to everything you just said there. I see you have a little video here on the Indiegogo. If I can embed that, I will. I'll get it out there and so everyone can check it out. So once again,
and if Facebook embedding works better for you, there are several videos on the Bearded Facebook, the Bearded video or movie Facebook. And actually they're posting just about weekly. They're posting interviews that they've done with folks leading up to this documentary, that sort of thing. So definitely follow there. You get to know some of the guys who are going to be on this trip, some of the guys just from the Rocky Mountain Club. They also interviewed Sarah from the Salty Saints. She's a Whiskerina from Salty Saints. They interviewed her about whiskerinaing and about how she enjoys beards too. So definitely follow them on social media.
And definitely once this is all done and over, we'll have to get back together with you and the guys and find out about how it all went and talk about, once the movie's all ready and everything. And, I got to have you guys back on so we can talk about it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, sounds good.
All right, Ryan. Well, thank you very much for your time tonight. And like I said, I wish you guys the best of luck and stay safe.
Thank you, sir. Take it easy.
All right, ciao. And cut. Once again, thanks, Ryan, for taking the time out to talk to me about the Bearded and Ode to the Beard and all the cool stuff you guys got going on with that, with the Rocky Mountain Beard and Mustache Club, and with the Worlds going on in Austin. So lots of cool stuff. And if you guys are all going to Worlds down in Austin in September, make sure you try to find these guys. They'll be the guys with the video cameras, I'm sure, walking around, and they're probably going to want to talk to you and learn about why and how and all that stuff. So, just be ready, be prepared. This is going to be an awesome documentary, and I hope that I can get to be part of it too. And I mean, there's just so much cool stuff with this. Like I said, it's like striking while the iron's hot. These guys have such a unique and fun idea. I can't wait to see how it turns out. So once again, check the show notes for links to all the stuff that you heard in here, all the major things. So I'd like to thank you everyone again for listening. Go to thebeardcaster.com for more information. You can, like I said, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, all of those. Or just go to thebeardcaster.com/subscribe, and you can pick any which way you want to subscribe, or you can stream it, whatever works for you the best. So thank you again, and like I say at the end of every episode, tell a friend. Let's get the word out there. Let's help the program grow. Let's help the people I'm trying to help grow. Help these guys get their Indiegogo going. So I guess that's all I'm going to say for tonight. Thank you so very much for listening, and ciao.
You can look at the menu, but you just can't eat. You can feel the cushions, but you can't have a seat. You can dip your foot in the pool, but you can't have a swim. You can feel the punishment, but you can't commit the sin. And you want her, and she wants you. We want everyone, and you want her, and she wants you. No one, no one, no one ever is to blame. But you just can't live it. You're the fastest runner, but you're not allowed to win. So break the rules and live to count the cost. The insecurity is the thing that won't get lost. And you want her, and she wants you. We want everyone. But you just can't reach it. The last piece of the puzzle, but you can't make it fit. Doctor says you're cured, but you still feel the pain. Aspirations in the clouds, but your hopes go down the drain. And you want her,